recently I created TikTok.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. But, I like video editing. It's fun and whatnot. Messing around with TikTok. Just like, a nice little subreddit.
You know what I mean? I don't think the app is the problem. It's more so the culture the problem I have with it.
I agree. It's a bad culture surrounding it, It's very addicting.
But why do you bring that up though?
It's because I created TikTok and I got community violated instantly.
Community violated, so they.
So they took down my TikTok.
That's a wild term for that. Community violated.
I figure out what they call it. I think
community guidelines.
Yeah,
strike.
community guidelines strike. I got
there you go.
instantly. It's not even a bad video. I'll show you it and I'll pop it up on the screen.
That sounds like something that you get thrown in prison for.
Yeah, I know, but here, take a look at it. I'll turn on the volume so don't get copyrighted, but it's not a bad video. There's no inappropriate scenes in it. I would say the harshest scene in it is me literally falling over on a ski at the very end.
I don't know if that's the harshest scene in it.
What would you say the harshest scene in it then is?
I don't know how this got community guidelines striked. Community raped or whatever you called it. Well, the way I look at it is probably because the same thing happened when we created a TikTok and fucking around in November. Right, we got guidelines strike. We didn't do anything. We didn't have any suggestive material at all.
Did you appeal it?
Yeah, we tried to appeal it, and it was our profile picture. You want to know what it was? It was the scene from Regular Show where it's Rigby's turned over, and he's got one butt cheek, and he's got
And they community guideline.
Yeah,
they told you that.
Yeah, that's what they said.
So my original guideline strike, they didn't tell me it was wrong with it. They just said community violation or community guideline strike. Did they tell you initially or?
No, they said we had to appeal, right? And then they sent us back. They're like, yeah, you can't have that profile picture. And I was like, well, that's weird. If that's okay on a PG cartoon, why is it not okay on TikTok where people are doing way worse? They're not PG on TikTok.
Yeah, there are way worse videos I've seen.
There's some suggestive videos, but a lot of times those are the ones that make the most amount of money. They bring in the most amount of traffic, so they just leave them up, but they're harsher with newer creators.
I don't know, I feel like it's not right at all.
Well, it's the thing that makes the most amount of sense monetarily.
Well,
you want it to be fair, go live in a communist country. Everybody's starving.
How about YouTube though? For example, the Nelk boys, I'm not supporting Trump, I'm not against him, political free here, we're not talking about politics, but
why do you have to preface? I hate when people do that.
I'm just saying.
Side tangent, I hate when people do that.
We're neutral. We're not doing anything like that.
We're neutral, yeah. Everybody's got their own biases, and we happen to land on opposite sides of the political spectrum.
It doesn't matter.
You're saying it doesn't matter, but it does to this conversation. So
it doesn't.
Disclosure up front. We do have political biases. We do think about politics. We're not fucking people who live under a rock. All right. We don't live with bacteria and ants.
All right. That is besides the point. The point is, I'm saying on YouTube, now create a podcast with Trump. They had Trump on the show,
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter. I didn't watch it.
I watched the full thing. I could tell you everything about it. We'll go into it. But one day had over 5 million views on YouTube. Taken down the next day later. Taken down.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't say anything, bad against past presidents like Obama or saying Obama was Bin Laden or whatever.
Like he's done in the past.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody said Obama was the founder of ISIS. That was just hilarious. When that came out, you couldn't do anything but just laugh. You're like, come on.
Yeah, but that's the point. The thing is, he's going into Russia and talking about the current situation that we have on our hands because of all the tensions now we have and how our country looks weak, and then
he said some controversial opinions, but again, they were opinions, and I mean, trust me, I disagree with basically everything he said, but again, they're opinions, and he wasn't spreading misinformation. I think that's different. When he was, I understand why Twitter banned him, because he was saying I won the election. He was basically promoting the January 6th riot and all that, but this was just, I don't know, is it because of the reputation? Alright.
That's all I think it is really, because like he was saying some good points about Russia and like in Ukraine and the whole entire war situation, like how China now is going to be with Russia, how we created two big enemies, like people that we were a little scared about, and now they're teaming up. And then he also talked about our energy and like how our gas is like going to be like almost $7 a gallon, and that's because of our deal and everything that we've done in the past. And that's a whole nother political issue, but the war obviously not helped it because we were relying on a little bit of Russian oil, correct? The east side of the country was.
We were for a while. Like, we were spending like $500 million a day on that shit.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Well, during COVID, Trump, during his term, he filled up our reserves of oil, which was a good move because oil was very cheap during the time.
Yeah, it wasn't very cheap during the time, and that's part of the reasons why they're high. Now, that's not the entire reason. It does have to do with Biden backing into the Paris Agreement and all that. And then a lot of people are arguing, is it... Okay, it's bad, obviously, the gas is this high. It's bad inflation's this high. But... let's take this little hit now so we're better off for the future when it comes to things like climate change. And,
I agree too.
Just economic indifference between the top and the bottom. Now, I don't agree with about 80% of the shit Biden's done. Like, he still didn't cut military funding. I think that was shit, but like, it's just, I think that people are putting too much blame on him. There is some blame that is to be put on him. I don't know if in an oil shortage, this was the best time to shut down pipelines.
We had an Iran deal going. Trump said before his presidency, and I again don't know how true it is. This is what he said in the podcast. He said we had an Iran deal to buy a lot of oil, and our gas would have stayed down. Like our gas prices would have stayed down a tremendous amount because we would have a constant shipment of oil coming over from Iran.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now Iran's selling their oil to Russia and China. And what's that creating? That's making Iran very, very powerful again and making them rich from China and Russia, and they're going to team up against them. And now Germany and Japan.
It is a bit of a conspiracy theory.
It is all conspiracy theory. But
Shane Dawson pushed them all the time and made a shit ton of money off them in the late 2010s, and then he did the Jake Paul shit. And then some other things happened to him. I kind of forget, actually.
It's all conspiracy theory, but... What could happen, like, out of that? What do you think is going to happen?
What do I think is going to happen?
Like, what's going to happen to Taiwan now?
I think that there is a legitimate possibility for Taiwan to be invaded by China. I think that the seeds have been planted, in the last couple of years for that to happen. But the thing is, like, it could be considered, dangerous rhetoric to just say shit like that.
Oh, I agree. It could be very dangerous just to say that.
And now that you say that, I'm not so sure that this might be a case of censorship. And I think, they...
So you think the video should have been taken down because of that or not?
I don't know if that's...
You don't know if there's nothing...
No, what I would do in a video like that is, how they have, like, stuff on Twitter. You're not on Twitter a lot. They have, like, they have like an exclamation mark. They're like, this information is not confirmed. Yeah, they should have done something like that. Yeah. Let people try to do their own research, because people are stupid. All right, and if powerful rich people who they aspire to be start saying all this bullshit that it could make sense sometimes. It could. Hey,
that's what I mean. Like, who do you trust? Do you trust America, or do you trust what they're saying? Like you're saying.
Well, what I'm trying to say is this: like, a lot of pieces, when pitched from that point of view, without any pushback, remember that could make sense. But if you were to examine it further, then you could start to see. All right, I don't know if three, countries who want to believe that they are the greatest people, the most superior people, and want to take, I don't want to think they want to take over the world, but they're very megalomaniac, the people at the top at those countries.
They have ambition.
I don't know if they're going to team up. That very rarely happens. And if it does, most likely it'll be a war between those three once they start invading smaller countries before they threaten the bigger ones like us.
Why do you think there would be inside tension between, like, internal?
Because it's always been that way. Like it's always been that way. Whenever powers like that, look at Hitler and Stalin. What happened when they teamed up?
Yeah, I saw. And
Like
then Hitler just turned on Stalin.
And Stalin that ended up fucking him.
Yeah,
that's usually what ends up before they legitimately threaten like a country like the U.S., especially in the U.S. because we're way over here. Before they're gonna take like the U.K., they're gonna take all these other countries before they even threaten us.
But the thing is, if they touch these other countries, we have to go in it because we're part of NATO.
Yeah, we gotta go in it. I'm not saying we don't have to go in. We're gonna be involved, but what I'm saying is like when it comes to invasion and stuff like that, we're definitely on the bottom. And by that time, rolls around. Hell, by the time they're gonna invade countries like UK or something like that, by that time rolls around, what's gonna happen is that there's gonna be some infighting already, and those guys are gonna fall apart. That's what happened throughout history.
So history's just gonna repeat itself. I see what you're saying. Because I watched the videos on World War One, World War Two today.
Oversimplified?
Yeah, I did it.
I love that guy.
Very good YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
But it is very interesting to see everything, how it all came together, and you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
But going to oversimplified, think again, like how Japan and Germany and Italy were like all teamed up.
Yeah.
Well, Trump also said in this podcast that Germany and Japan are now looking to rebuild their militaries. What do you think about that? Do you think that's
Germany?
Scary,
I saw this actually on the Trevor Noah show the other day. He actually made a joke about that. He's like, Germany is rebuilding their military, and it's got the entire world going, yay! I think, like, because they don't know. Because, you want to say, oh, it's because of the shit that's going on in Ukraine right now.
But the thing is, I thought these countries like Japan and Germany signed a treaty saying that they cannot rebuild their military.
Mm-hmm, but here's the thing. You got to look at it from their point of view, right? Germany, they got Vladdy over there. You don't know what the fuck he's going to do. And it's not the good Vladdy that plays for the Blue Jays. It's the one that's a tyrant and he lives in Moscow. All right?
That is true.
Or St. Petersburg. I don't know.
But this would happen during World War One. But this would happen after World War One.
Yeah, I understand, but like there's imminent threats for them right now.
Okay, all right.
There is imminent threats for Japan as well, because no one knows what's going on with China.
Yeah, so China might, get mad
at
past actions what Japan did to them, and they might just take over Japan and Taiwan and all of them.
Yeah, they could very easily, and if
what if they touch Japan? Is Japan part of NATO now, or is Japan just on their own? They're fucked, or what?
Not entirely sure.
All right, we looked up the information. Nikki has it. What's the conclusion?
Well, they're not a part of NATO, but they are a part of another group of countries that's kind of similar to NATO and like East Asia. It's called United Countries. It's called Countries Beyond the Euro-Atlantic Area, often partners across the globe. That's what it's called. And NATO is developing relationships with them. So they're not a part of NATO, but if they were to get into a war, it seems like NATO would most likely get involved, yeah.
Yeah. Well, after we defeated Japan in World War II, our general took a picture with their emperor, which I thought was pretty funny.
To show him that he's not a god. Yeah,
to show that not a god. And I don't know, I feel like, obviously, we did some bad things, like Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
Those were tragic events, and, but at the time, the country was scared.
And it was very much scared.
No one knew what was going to happen.
Well, I heard that, we told Japan, we have the capability to blow you guys up, the nuke.
Yeah, we told them that, and they still went around, fucked with the islands, and they started... that was the reason why they bombed Pearl Harbor, because we told them that, to chill out. So then they bombed Pearl Harbor.
They were savages in World War II, aren't they? Mm-hmm. They just kamikazed everything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, because, I don't know, it's just manifest destiny. It wasn't just an American principle. It's like everybody has that.
What do you think is now going to happen? What's now your personal prediction on World War III? Is it going to happen or not?
World War III? I don't know, because now the sanctions, as they get harsher, they're starting to be hit by some of Putin's closest friends, all the billionaire entrepreneurs that he made rich in this, capitalist economy or this free economy that they got over there that isn't communist anymore. They're starting to feel the sanctions, and they're like, no, we are not against this. We are against this bloodshed. But now they're coming out. They weren't coming out to start, so it's kind of weird how the timing is.
Well,
and those guys could be powerful because if they start backing Putin, then Putin gets more and more along. So I don't know when it comes to Vladimir, like. He could try to start it. I just think that the cards are stacked against him. Unless, like you said, he makes serious allies with countries like Iran, North Korea, or China, or something like that. Which
I forgot about North Korea.
I don't think that's going to even happen. Then no, I don't think World War III is going to. I'd be surprised if it happens, but it wouldn't be like, oh, this is the nuttiest thing that ever happened. No one saw this coming. Like, nah.
No, we all saw it coming.
This isn't like LeBron James going to Miami Heat. Hello. No, people just kind of saw that coming too.
Thing is too, Putin thought he was going to take over Ukraine after like 2 days. He thought he was going to take over within overnight. And
the resistance that he was met with by Ukraine people.
Yeah, but going back to his capitalistic friends, like the friends he made rich. They probably thought the same exact thing, and now they're not getting their way, so now they're speaking out.
That could be a reason. I also think, the sanctions as well. Like, I think he was hoping, like you said, that it was going to be so quick that the sanctions wouldn't even affect him. Then he could move on to his next move, which what they're saying is Moldova.
Where?
Moldova.
Where is that? I'm not.
South of Ukraine, kind of. Like right between Ukraine and I think Romania.
So he wants to take over. He wants to unite the USSR again.
Yeah, and it was funny the way that like people kind of found out about that. It was Lukashenko, not the president, like the leader of Belarus. I don't know if he's a dictator. I highly doubt he's a fairly elected president. But he's pointing at a map, and he's pointed at Ukraine, and he points to Moldova, and he points to Russia. Points to Ukraine, and he points to Moldova, and then it translates said that's what they're gonna do. It's literally like a fucking cartoon, the evil henchman standing there. He's like, wah ha 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 ha.
Oh yeah, you really got me there. Oh jeez.
Like so, I think they're probably gonna move into Moldova, and then Poland. They're gonna wait for all these refugees fleeing into Poland and countries like that. Kind of fuck them up. They're waiting for all them refugees to fuck up their economy, so they got to put more resources into that and less into the defenses. They'll run through Poland.
Well, or they go with the.
But
refugees.
But like, here's the thing: like, we can't be saying all this shit's gonna happen.
That's what I'm trying to say. This is all hypothetical. It's nothing as true what we're saying. We're just creating scenarios of the worst that could happen. And God forbid, I really hope none of this happens because I don't feel like getting drafted and I don't want any more people to be dying over there.